On this week's Waypoint, the Lunar Revel finally approaches, a new 6v6 game mode that's called HEXAKILL, a range of new particle effects for Kassadin and Thornmail, and our highlights of the LCS for Week 2. What's up guys, and welcome to Waypoint, your weekly League of Legends recap for January 30th, 2014. I'm your host, Mike Schaffner. Now it seems like it's been a couple months that we've been talking about the upcoming Lunar Revel event, and if you guys have not logged into the game recently, I'm pleased to announce that the Lunar Revel is finally here. With so much to do and purchase as well as to see, it's easy to get lost in all that's coming, so let me break down all of the must-see features for this year's event. To start off, this year, players will be asked to choose their path. It's an option that will allow players to cast their vote for the Warriors' path that their region will follow in 2014. Basically, what this means is it's going to be much like choosing an allegiance with the Freljord, and it'll open up the option of getting an additional summoner icon. The only catch here is that the summoner icon we will receive will be the one that was most voted for in our region, so make sure to coordinate with all of your friends. Next up, as with every event, there are new summoner icons to earn, and this time around you may earn up to 4 by participating in various games during the entire event. To earn the Year of the Horse icon, simply win a match-made game during the Lunar Revel event. To claim the Warring Kingdoms Tryndamere icon, you must enter a match-made queue with at least one friend and finish 2 games on Summoner's Rift. The Lunar Goddess Diana icon can be earned by entering a match-made queue with at least one friend and finish 2 games while on Twisted Treeline or the Crystal Scar. And finally, the Dragon Blade Ribbon icon is from entering a match-made queue with, you guessed it, at least one friend, and finishing 2 games while on the Howling Abyss. Those all seem easy enough. Just grab some friends and play some League of Legends. As we've spoken about before, there are 3 new skins that will be introduced to the game, and these skins are Warring Kingdoms Tryndamere, Lunar Goddess Diana, and Dragon Blade Ribbon. All 3 of these skins can be picked up for 975 Riot points until February 1st, when Dragon Blade Ribbon will go up to 1350. Additionally, Ribbon and Tryndamere skins are going to be considered legacy skins and will be packed away into the vault once the event is over. Since Diana only has a few total skins, Riot has decided to leave Lunar Goddess Diana available just as they did with Haunted Zyra and Officer Vi. The 2 new ward skins, as well as last year's ward skins, will be available for free during the entire event, or if you guys really like the new style, you can purchase it permanently for 640 Riot points. Last up, like all recent holidays, mystery gifting will be returning, so if you're looking for a random lottery chance at some ultimate or legendary skins, now's the time to start buttering up all of your friends. If you're looking for more of a sure thing on skins, previous year bundles will also be available. The 2012 Year of the Dragon bundle will set you back 5,497 Riot points and includes Dragon Fist Lee Sin, Gu Quin Sona, Dragon Blade Talon, and Jade Dragon Wukong. Or if you wanted, you could go with the 2013 Year of the Serpent bundle and purchase Panda Annie, Jade Fang Cassiopeia, Dragon Wing Corki, Warring Kingdoms Jarvan, Warring Kingdoms Xin Zhao, as well as get the Banner of the Serpent Ward for 6,802 Riot points. And last up, if you're more up for the 2014 Year of the Horse bundle, you'll receive all 3 of the latest Lunar skins, as well as the Banner of the Horse Ward for 5,746 Riot points. All of the prices that we just listed here is the grand total for both the skins and champions, so remember that these bundles will adjust on a sliding scale and will reduce in price if you already own any of the pieces to this big puzzle. Now, over the past few months, Riot has been releasing new ways for us to think about the way that we play League of Legends. First up, we got the One for All game mode that allowed all 5 team members to assume the role of one single champion for some hilarious team combinations. Next, during the Snowdown, Riot gave us the Showdown, which was a 1v1 and 2v2 dueling game mode that seemed to answer to the call, "Wanna duel me, bro?" And now, the next featured game mode that's been announced will pit 12 players 6v6 style into Summoner's Rift for the chance at gaining a HEXAKILL. Now, this featured game mode has already hit the PvE for some testing, so I'm sure that a few of you guys have had the opportunity to check it out, but imagine the kind of new meta that we're gonna see from simply adding 2 more players. Could we potentially see two junglers that split the top and bottom jungle while assisting their adjacent lanes? Or will it pay off more to throw another support champion into the top lane? Let us know your ideas for the best new meta in the description below. Next up, it appears as though everyone's favorite overpowered mage is getting a little bit of an update in the form of new particle effects on all of his spells. That's right, Kassadin is receiving some updated particle effects, most of which are going over great with the entire community. Netherblade, Force Pulse, and Rift Walk all have updated Void-inspired looks, but strangely enough, Void Sphere is looking, well, a little bit less like a sphere. Riot Bitsplosion spoke up on the topic and gave some context to say that the goals in changing this were to allow the projectile to show directionality, as well as make the spell look a little bit more like the icon and match its tooltip. On the other hand, you could argue that the spherical shape is an iconic Kassadin thing, and that the ability name should ultimately trump the icon and description. Riot has said that they're going to be keeping an eye on feedback, so be sure to let us know what you guys think in the comments below of the new spell's direction. Additionally, AD champions, you'll be pleased to know that Thornmail particles are receiving a much more noticeable graphic. Everyone knows the devastating effects a Thornmail can have on an AD champion, and now the attacker will better visually be able to understand why they took so much damage. This new particle effect has a purple swoosh that will now come out of the attacked champion and circle back to its attacker. While we're on the topic of updated particle effects as well as awesome champions, Scorch Earth Renekton seems to be finally making his way to the game. This vicious alligator will light himself on fire when he's using Dominion, and will make for an epic top lane battle when laning against Infernal Nasus. I just kinda hope they don't set the entire Summoner's Rift on fire. Now, it's no surprise that Riot has been doing a phenomenal job delivering and developing their lore lately. We've seen a really massive push from them these last few months to present the story to us rather than burying it into text. Now that the story wasn't there to begin with, we just didn't really want to take the time to read it. And it's reasons like that services like Audible.com are so great. With hundreds of audiobooks that are available for download, have your favorite stories presented to you instead of reading a 300-page novel. With a plethora of video game related topics to choose from, there's something for everyone on Audible.com, and if you head on over to audible.com/gamebreaker, we're going to hook you up with a free 30-day trial, as well as even give you a free audiobook so you can get started right now. Alright everybody, let's shift gears over to eSports and see what happened this week in the LCS. First up are some highlights from the EU circuit, Team Rocket versus Super Hot Crew. It seems that pro players in the EU are becoming a little bit more innovative when it comes to their picks and bans, and none are more, well, I guess, creative than Team Rocket. An internet favorite made his LCS debut when Mordekaiser, the Master of Metal, was picked up by mid laner Overpow to take on another non-conventional champion, Morgana. While the early to mid game was pretty standard for Mord, Overpow's stealthy 1v1 with Moops Morgana serves as a warning to never underestimate any champion. Check this out. While Rocket is engaging Baron Nashor, Overpow hides in the river bush until an unsuspecting Moops walks into his demise. A quick Deathfire Grasp followed by Hextech Gunblade, as well as Mord's combo, Morgana is literally deleted off the map. You can almost hear the where while Mord rejoins his team at Baron. Super Hot Crew seem to vow revenge for their mid laner as Impaler pulls off an amazing 5v1 to secure the Baron steal for his team. Sadly, however, even with the Baron buff, Super Hot Crew could not gain any more ground for themselves, and Team Rocket was victorious in a 48-minute game with a score of 12-4. Next up, no other game showed more innovation this week than Gambit vs SK Gaming, bringing some, well, unorthodox champions to the Rift for the very first time. But I don't really think that they were all intentional. Right out of the picks and bans, this game was all over the place. It seemed as though Gambit Gaming might have even trolled themselves as Zed gets locked in on accident. Look carefully and you can almost see the frustration from AD carry Genja's face as the timer ticks down to 0. However, with some creative shuffling, Diamond takes Zed into the jungle, coming out on top by the end of the game. The final piece to this crazy puzzle was when Gambit support Edward once again busts out his Pokeball to play the Pikachu wannabe champion Kennen. Though unconventional to say the least, Kennen's superior poke and stunning abilities seem to get the best of SK Gaming. Gambit bring home the win in a 42-minute game, going 21-9. So after week 2 of the EU LCS, the current standings are as such. Fnatic still reigns supreme with a flawless 5-0 for first. Team Rocket standing close behind them with 5-1 in second place. Gambit Gaming sits in third, while Copenhagen Wolves secures fourth. SK Gaming and Alliance take up 5th and 6th place respectively, while Millennium holds down 7th place and Super Hot Crew rounds it out at 8th. Alright, now let's jump continents and take a look at the NA LCS for this week. First up, out of nowhere come the monsters Dignitas vs XDG Gaming. It seemed like the focus for this game has got to be XDG's jungler and shot caller Zuna. Going 3-0 in the first 7 minutes of the game, Zuna seemed almost unstoppable on his Elise. Take this clip for instance. Zuna comes up from the top river bush for a gank, and Mancloud initiates with a flash explosive casket combo. This pushes Ziggs straight into Elise's cocoon, allowing the Spider Queen to dig her fangs into that nasty little Yorl. It seemed as though XDG had this game in the bag until they decided to take on North America's sworn enemy, Baron Nashor. With XDG's Benny split pushing the bottom lane, Dignitas had to act fast on Baron or lose too much to Shen's pushing power. After taking a top inner turret for themselves, Dignitas makes their move on Baron only to stop to the approaching XDG, who are looking for the steal. Dignitas jungler Crumbs winds up his fist and snaps into the encroaching team of 5 to steal Baron with a skillful smite. After that, nothing could prevent a buffed up Dignitas from making the enemy's base their own. Coming back with a 38-minute long game, Dignitas outshines XDG Gaming, going 17-11. Our last highlight from the NALCS is a battle for 7th place, with Evil Geniuses facing off against XDG Gaming. EG's Yellow Pete and Crepo decided to bring some old school flavor back to the Rift, as the duo brought out Urgot and Soraka to the bottom lane. This is a composition that has not been seen since Season 2. But XDG knew exactly how to counter the ever-sticky Urgot with Sivir due to her help from her spell shield. Nothing seemed to be able to fall into place for EG, as the Thresh Lanterns kept Sivir continuously safe from harm. This allowed XDG to escape several ganks, forcing EG to respond by blowing valuable summoner spells and not really gaining any ground. The game seemed to take a turn for the worse for EG when Bloodwater pulled off an impressive Thresh Flash Flay combo into Evil Geniuses, initiating a teamfight near Dragon. XDG comes out on top of that brawl, taking down 4 of the EG players while never losing any of their own. But it would end up being a battle of attrition in the end, as Dr. Mundo's regen, along with heals from Soraka and Nidalee, proved to be too much for XDG, as Evil Geniuses win in the end with a 40-minute long game ending in 11-16. So to wrap up this week's LCS highlights, let's take a look at the current standings of the North American teams. Team Solo Mid sits comfortably in first place, above their rivals Cloud9, who have fallen down to second. Dignitas holds on to third, with Team Curse coming up just behind them in fourth. Counter Logic Gaming and Team Coast end week 2 in 5th and 6th place. And last but not least, Evil Geniuses inches ahead into 7th, while XDG Gaming closes it off in 8th. That does it for this week's episode of Waypoint. Be sure to check back every week on Thursday for updated League of Legends news. If you guys like this video, be sure to like and comment below, as I promise it helps spread our audience. And if you guys want to see more League of Legends content, recaps, and updates, as well as our own show, Summoner Showcase Revival, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, LOLNation TV. I'm Mike Shaffnet. You guys can follow me on Twitter at Mike Shaffnet. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys at the next Waypoint.
Game Breaker TV.